It's a pleasant good evening and welcome to Niza with me, Ibrahim Samara. Coming up in tonight's bulletin, Ministry for Basic and Senior Secondary Education and its partners discuss on sustainable financing solutions to education. Political Parties Registration Commission certifies Humble Africans Development Party. And Jamil and Iyanga Foundation honors widows for their resilience and contributions to societal development. These stories and more are lined up in this edition of Niza. We start tonight's bulletin with the education sector. The Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, with its partners, has begun a two-day strategic session on blended and innovation financing for education. The initiative aims at exploring sustainable financing solutions to strengthen the education sector. Christiana Kamara has more.
Sited here at the New Brookfields Hotel in Freetown, we are members of Parliament, CSOs, development partners, and government officials. Their purpose was to examine alternative financing mechanisms that support long-term investment in Sierra Leone's educational system. Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Conrad Saki, said the engagement came at a critical time when traditional sources of education financing have been declining, including donor support.
As you know, overseas development aid is dwindling, and in some cases, it's no longer available. And as a country, we want to take a very proactive measure to make sure that we start to look at alternative means of financing education.
UNICEF's country deputy representative, Liv Ellen Indretin, said education remains one of the most important investments for Sierra Leone's future. She said amid government's significant allocation to education, there have been numerous challenges not limited to financing gaps, climate-related challenges, among other things.
For UNICEF, education financing is ultimately about children's rights and children's future. It is about ensuring that every child has the opportunity to learn, develop, and acquire the skills they need to thrive. And it is about making sure that financing reaches the children and communities most in need, especially those facing the greatest barriers because of poverty, gender inequality, disability, remote locations, or other crises.
Deputy Minister of Finance too, Jene Jabati, reaffirmed government's commitment to prioritize education despite fiscal constraints. She highlighted ongoing reforms aimed at increasing domestic revenue mobilization, improving public financial management, and safeguarding investment in education and other key social sectors.
Let me state that government's financing priorities will continue to be guided by human capital and equity perspective, ensuring that increased spending translates into better and fairer outcomes, especially for the vulnerable. We will strongly maintain support for the FUSC program, including support for foundational learning, girls' education, disability inclusion, and the school feeding program, while also strengthening teacher workforce and competition.
Participants were informed that Sierra Leone's education sector requires additional and sustainable financing to meet national development goals, improve learning outcomes, and expand access to quality education for all children. It was expected that practical recommendations on financing options would come out of the session. SLBC News IF Freetown, Christiana Kamara reporting.
The Political Parties Registration Commission has satisfied a new political party in Sierra Leone, the Humble Africans Development Party. The certification, according to the Commission, is in line with the Political Parties Act 2022. The chairman of the PPRC, Emmanuel Koivaya Amara, said the registration of political parties remains one of the Commission's core functions. He noted that with the issuance of the certificate to the Humble African Development Party now enjoys the same rights and privileges as all other registered political parties in the country. Chairman Amara emphasized that the existence of multiple political parties strengthens democratic governance and encourages wider political participation. He urged members of the newly registered political party to operate within the provisions of the law, stressing that political parties administration carries significant responsibilities. He encouraged the party to actively engage in the political process and contribute positively to the advancement of democracy in Sierra Leone. Members of the Humble Africans Development Party expressed appreciation to the Commission for the certification and pledged to upholding the law and participating fully in the country's democratic processes. Speaking to the media after the ceremony, Chairman Amara disclosed that the Commission will soon undertake a comprehensive regulatory and legal verification exercise aimed at identifying and removing inactive political parties from the register. The president of the Asset Recovery Interagency Network for West Africa, ARINWA, Mo Indaya, has led a high-level delegation to engage key government institutions in the country to advocate for the establishment of a specialized structure in Sierra Leone for the recovery, management, and disposal of proceeds and instrumentalities of crimes during a roundtable discussion at the Minister of Finance Conference Hall in Freetown. The initiative is being championed by the Financial Intelligence Agency in compliance with the Financial Action Task Force. Here is the report. The roundtable discussion brought together senior government officials and other stakeholders in the fight against money laundering, anti-corruption, asset recovery, and financial crime investigations. The advocacy mission forms part of broader regional effort to strengthen cooperation among law enforcement agencies, financial intelligence units, anti-corruption bodies, prosecutors, and judicial authorities in the fight against illicit financial flows and transnational organized crime. Deputy Minister of Finance Jenny Jabati told the delegates that government recognized the accusation of assets through corrupt means undermine economic development, weaken public institutions, erode citizens' confidence, and deprive government of resources needed to deliver essential services. Director General of the Financial Intelligence Agency, David Bobo, underscored the importance of regional collaboration in strengthening asset recovery efforts and combating illicit financial flows across West Africa. He noted that asset recovery, management, and disposal was a significant component of the assessment, which he said deals with compliance with Financial Action Task Force Recommendation 4 and immediate outcome 8.
Prioritizing asset recovery, management, and disposal, the FIA targets the lifeblood of criminal networks, dismantling their economic power and disrupting their ability to reinvest in further illicit operations.
The president of the Asset Recovery Interagency Network for West Africa, Mo Diaye, highlighted the critical role asset recovery plays in combating corruption organized crime, money laundering, drug trafficking, and other financial crimes. He noted that criminal proceeds should not remain in the hands of offenders and stressed the need for effective systems that identify, freeze, confiscate, manage, and return illicitly acquired assets for the benefit of citizens.
Mission is part of a regional advocacy tower conducted on behalf of Arinwa, covering Liberia, Togo, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. Its objective as mentioned is clear: to strengthen the foundation of asset recovery, asset management, and cooperation in criminal asset recovery across our region.
The Director, Litigation and Sanctions Department, Financial Intelligence Agency, Abdallah Sise, in a PowerPoint presentation, outlined the proposed roadmap for establishing of a specialized structure for the recovery, management, and disposal of proceeds and instrumentalities of crime in Sierra Leone. He said the framework would strengthen interagency cooperation, improve asset tracing and recovery processes, and enhance compliance with international anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism standards. ARIWA is a regional network established to facilitate cooperation and information sharing among member states on asset tracing, seizure, confiscation, and recovery. The organization brings together focal points from justice, security, and finance institutions to strengthen the ability of countries to deprive criminals of illicit gains through faster information exchange, technical assistance, and operational collaboration across borders. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown. The Jamil and Nyanga Foundation has hosted 53 widows to honor them for their resilience and contributions to societal development. The event was part of the celebration of the International Widows' Day. Henrietta Kolka filing this report, read in the studios by Jorian Dumbia.
The day was set aside to encourage widows not to give up, reminding them that the death of a husband is not the end of life. One donor encouraged the women with words of hope, noting that life is not always easy. They must continue to smile, embrace change, and move forward. The event was held under the theme Justice, Equality, and Economic Empowerment for Widows, bringing together 53 widows from different communities. Delivering the keynote address, Combat described the day as a special occasion that reminds society that every widow has a story to tell and deserves equal rights, justice, dignity, and respect. She commended Jamil and Nyanga Foundation for restoring hope to widows and supporting them through various empowerment initiatives.
We started in 2018 and so far they've been doing well. They've got different programs in education, loan schemes. They do help them with little things like seed money for them to do business, so that at least they're empowered, they have economic empowerment to carry on, they can take care of themselves and their families.
Some widows share testimonies about how the foundation has transformed their lives following the loss of their husbands. They describe the organization as a blessing that continues to support encouragement and opportunities for a better future.
I'd say Jamil and Nyanga Jawad Foundation plenty things. We're really happy. We're happy. It's not party, not young. The kind of happiness I get.
The widows expressed appreciation for the event and the foundation's continued support, including medical assistance and other welfare services that made them valued.
Sierra Leone's ambassador to Turkey, Dr. Francis Adanse, has conducted a site visit to the Dongala Agricultural Company in Ankara following a courtesy call paid by the company's representatives at the Embassy of Sierra Leone in Ankara over a week ago. The visit formed part of the embassy's ongoing effort to strengthen engagement with Turkish businesses and explore potential investment opportunities in Sierra Leone's agricultural sector. During the visit, Ambassador Adanse was received by Tolka Dugan, General Manager of Dugala Agriculture Company, who provided a comprehensive overview of the company's operations, agricultural production systems, modern farming techniques, and agribusiness activities. Ambassador Adanse toured the company's facilities and held discussions with management on opportunities for cooperation in commercial agriculture, agro-processing, livestock development, agricultural mechanization, and the transfer of agricultural technology and enterprise. General Manager of the company, Tolka Dugan, expressed appreciation for the ambassador's visit and reiterated the company's interest in learning more about opportunities within Sierra Leone's agricultural sector. He noted that the engagement provided valuable insight into the country's investment landscape and potential areas for mutually beneficial cooperation. You are watching NISA coming to you live from the Stellum Broadcasting Corporation from a broadcasting house here at Newlandville. The Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has endorsed the National Public Investment Management Guidelines. The document was described as a standard tool for the implementation of timely and beneficial national projects. Joseph Ture witnessed the event at the CCSL building in Freetown.
We also want to make sure that when we say we give you the money or we allocate the money, the Ministry of Finance should be able to pay that money. But because it's overcrowded now, there are projects that have taken more than 6-7 years in pipeline, and they are still being paid.
This was among several reasons the National Public Investment Management Guidelines came into effect. The document would make it very easy for every public investment project to make its way into the development portfolio. Development and finance experts say the guidelines would ensure effective service delivery. Deputy Director of Budget, Ministry of Finance, Ilara Madi, said the guidelines came at a critical time when public resources were to be managed prudently. She urged MDAs to apply it in a standardized manner to ensure transparency and reduce waste.
There is need to focus on efficiency and value for money. For us at the Ministry of Finance, this is quite key. It cannot be overemphasized. We must ensure that public resources are allocated to projects that deliver the greatest socio-economic impact.
The Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Kenny Bali, said the framework is central and vital to public investment, track multiple contracts paid, among many benefits.
It has several benefits, which include improving project selection, ensuring fiscal discipline, bringing about budget credibility, and fostering resource optimization and empowering oversight and governance.
Amid the accolades, there was a strong call to build the capacity of MDAs to improve compliance to the guidelines and monitor progress. SLBC, Joseph Ture reporting.
Now to the presidency. President Julius Maada Bio has sworn in Usman Ibrahim Kano as Sierra Leone's new Solicitor General at a ceremony held at State House in Freetown. The appointment, made under Section 65, Subsection 2 of the 1991 Constitution, Act No. 6, places a seasoned legal professional at the helm of one of the country's most important justice institutions. Let's now join our senior status correspondent, Margaret Senge, for more on that report.
I,
Usman Ibrahim Kano,
do hereby in the name of Allah swear
do hereby in the name of Allah swear
that I will faithfully
and
truly discharge the duties of the office of Solicitor General
the duties of the office of Solicitor General
of the Republic of Sierra Leone,
and
that I will support,
uphold,
and maintain the Constitution of Sierra Leone, as by law established. So help me Allah.
Sierra Leone has a new Solicitor General, Usman Kanu, a career law officer with 22 years of service in Law Officers Department. Officially took the oath of office at State House. His appointment follows years of service as State Counsel, Principal State Counsel, Head of Civil Division, and most recently Director of Public Prosecution. In his acceptance remarks, Kanu described the appointment as a duty to serve the nation. Reflecting on the significance of the dates, he noted that he was appointed on the day of Arafah and sworn in on the day of Ashura, which commemorates Allah's deliverance of Prophet Musa and his people from Pharaoh. He thanked President Bio for the confidence reposed in him and called on colleagues across the justice sector to work together. He also pledged to pursue reforms that will strengthen the judiciary and better serve Sierra Leoneans.
I commit to playing my full constitutional role as Principal Assistant to the Attorney General, supporting the legal reform agenda of this government, ensuring that the state's legal interests are protected with competence and integrity, and bringing to bear the full depth of experience I have accumulated across civil litigation, prosecutorial work, and legal advisory functions. Third, I commit to the rule of law, not as a slogan, but as a daily practice. The Solicitor General must be a person of whom it can be said without qualification that he serves the law and not the moment. That commitment will guide every decision I make in this office.
President Julius Maada Bio congratulated the new Solicitor General and described the office as one carrying enormous responsibility. He expressed confidence in Kanu's experience and assured him of his full support.
You have what it takes to carry this weighty task. I want to wish you well. First, to congratulate you and to wish you well, and to assure you of my fullest support during your tenure.
The president emphasized that the rule of law remains the cornerstone of national stability and development, noting that no states can function effectively without law and order.
Human beings are by their nature sometimes dubious. We have to have a set of rules, and we have to have people who will enforce those rules. With your number of years in this sector, we are counting on you to really be committed to the rule of law. And as I've assured you, I will give you all the support that you need as you work in this very important sector.
The Solicitor General serves as the principal assistant to the Attorney General and is the professional head of the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. The swearing ceremony was attended by the Secretary to the President, former Attorney General, and the Deputy Minister of Justice, family members, and senior government officials. Usman Kanu is expected to assume his duty immediately. For SLBC News, Margaret Senge reporting.
Residents at Newingtonville community in Freetown have called on the management of EDSA and the Ministry of Energy to provide additional transformers to address the interrupted electricity supply in the community. They said the community has expanded and the only transformer could no longer withstand the shed load. The request came after a recent cable spark, leaving the community in blackout. Sulaiman Babature tells us more.
At a time when most of their neighbors are enjoying electricity supply, hundreds of households in the New Englandville community are in constant blackouts, leaving their businesses and foodstuffs destroyed.
We haven't got light since yesterday. We have our foodstuffs and our businesses with no electricity. We close our shops earlier because there is no light.
The unfortunate reality started around 7 to 8 in the morning when the main electricity poles caught fire with endless sparks. It ended in this situation because of the delay by the EDSA team at New Englandville to switch off the transformer before the cable completely burnt down an hour later. This was not only scary for people passing, especially kids, but also nearby houses to the damaged poles, causing grave concern to the already number of houses that have been engulfed by fire recently. The struggle doubles for students who are on exams.
For us parents, it affects our foodstuff, but for the school-going pupils on exam, they have to suffer to iron their uniforms.
Though the EDSA standby staff tried calling for the key to turn off the transformer, he couldn't access the key. The situation has left residents in the community worried, calling for a sustainable solution to the problem.
The transformer to fire, as anytime it is the fire, as you don't get too much pressure with the fire.
The transformer sparks at any time there is overload, so we need government to help us with another transformer to address this problem.
So this problem has not going to cause.
With the numerous struggles, the people of New Englandville now have a tripartite battle to fight. The blackout, heavy downpour, and garbage being thrown in gutters whenever it rains. SLBC News, Sulaiman Babature reporting from New Englandville in Freetown.
In celebration of the United Nations Public Service Day, the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs and the Public Sector Reform Unit have jointly awarded deserving distinguished career civil and public servants in recognition of their invaluable contributions and for reaffirming their central role of public institutions in ensuring a sustainable national development. The Chief Minister used the occasion to congratulate public service workers, whom he described as a critical drivers of development. He reiterated government's commitment for repositioning the sector to speak to the pressing needs of the public, of the people, while generating that the Big Five game agenda of the government was central to effective service delivery. Dennis Fraser was in attendance on our reports.
For the first time in the history of Sierra Leone on United Nations Public Service Day, government officials, personnel in the civil and public space gather for one profound duty: to recognize and honor the immeasurable role of public servants while committing to building a stronger and more trusted public service. The presentation of awards to deserving distinguished career civil and public servants demonstrated a forward-looking public service, as the future of the nation depends on a public service that is competent, accountable, and visionary. According to the Minister of Public Administration and Political Affairs, Amara Kalon, They recognized the service of ordinary people doing extraordinary services to the nation. He added that behind every government policy, there are public servants working quietly but patiently and diligently to make it work, while following up on implementation with a commitment to serve the nation.
Quest to make a meaningful change in the way we do things. We committed ourselves as ministers to doing things differently, and it is showing glaringly in our various sectors where we are as accounting officers. We have struggled and argued between ideals and practice, precedents and rules, intergenerational approach, and systemic and systematic fundamentals. And will not be here today without you, and we are grateful.
The Chief Minister, Dr. David Monina Senge, used the occasion to reiterate government commitments for repositioning the sector in order to speak to pressing needs of the people. He underscored that the Big Five game-changer agenda of the government was central to effective service delivery.
The success and sustainability of these transformative reforms will require collective ownership and sustained investment. I therefore call upon our development partners, the Ministry of Finance, and all MDAs to continue providing the financial, technical, institutional support necessary to drive this agenda forward. We need everyone to work together.
Other speakers called for renewed and collective resolve by public servants to serve with dedication and commitment while upholding the highest standards of professionalism in the interest of the nation. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
Eco Energy Sierra Leone Limited, in collaboration with the Civil Rights Coalition, has conducted a tour and consultative engagement with persons living with disabilities around 8 operational sites in Kisi, east end of Freetown. The engagement focused on discussing possible relocation plan aimed at enhancing safety and improving the livelihoods of members of the disability community who operate a mental workshop in the area. A reporter, Yusuf Suma Mosiri, has more.
The talk followed a brief consultative meeting during which several key issues were discussed, including the residential proximity of persons living with disability to the industrial operations, safety and environmental risk, and access to essential services for persons living with disabilities. Eco Energy stated that the engagement forms part of its community relations and corporate social responsibility framework, which prioritizes dialogue and stakeholder consultation before any major operational decision affecting residents within its areas of operation. Chairman of the United Polio Brothers and Sisters Association, Patrick Melvin Kamara, commended Eco Energy Sierra Leone Limited for what he described as a human and respectful approach towards persons with disabilities. While expressing the association's willingness to relocate, he emphasized the need for any relocation site to remain within the city and provide access to essential services. He also appealed for additional support to strengthen their metal workshop.
One with the thing, say, within the axis of the city because of the institution we will get.
We do not want to be moved outside the city because of our vocational institution. We want a location within the city where health, education and water facilities are available, and one that is accessible and mobility friendly.
And it will be accessible and disabled friendly for we.
Other members of the disability community working at the metal workshop shared how these skills they have acquired have helped them earn a living and avoid street begging.
I started to do this when I left school.
I started this work after I stopped going to school because the person who was paying my school fees could no longer support me. As a physical challenged person, I felt it was better not to engage in street begging. So, I learned how to make local stoves, and through this work, I am able to survive.
They like today, and that is survive.
We do this work for help to the community.
We are doing this work to help the community, and we survive through the sales we make. we are calling on our fellow physically challenged persons to join us. We obtain our raw materials from the proceeds of our sales. We also want the government to support us so that our colleagues who are begging on the streets can join us.
Let them able
Other members of the disability community working at the metal workshop shared how these skills they have acquired have helped them earn a living and avoid street begging. The management of Eco Energy Sierra Leone Limited reiterated that protecting vulnerable populations while maintaining safe operations remains a top priority. The company emphasized that any final decision regarding relocation will take into account the views and concerns of those mostly affected. At the end of the tour, the management assured participants that no relocation will take place without a proper assessment, adequate compensation, and the provision of a suitable alternative location that meets accessibility standards. The company also pledged to work closely with relevant ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as local authorities, to ensure a smooth and inclusive relocation process. Yusuf Mosiri Suma, SLBC News, Freetown.
Many have lauded government for the construction of the Manoa Bridge in Peje Bunge Chiefdom, Kelam districts. This, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Henry Musa Parker, has acclaimed it was part of a strategy to enable farmers in the region generate huge annual agricultural turnover estimated in millions of dollars. Dennis Fraser tells us more.
Form a community which wants largely depend on this manual for access from Pendembu to Manuata. Today, the trajectory is different. We now have a bridge that goes across the Moa River and that connects the two localities and other villages and towns beyond.
For decades, residents of Manoa, Pendembu, and surrounding communities have endured challenges in transporting their produce from their farms to the markets. However, the intervention of the government through the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, with support from the World Bank, under the Smallholder Commercialization and Agribusiness Development Projects, or SCADEP, community members, especially farmers, can now transport cocoa, oil palm, rice, cassava, and other produce to the market without delay.
The economic viability is now subject to be discussed within this jurisdiction. With road network, you are quick to use your farm equipment to access the nearest farms.
According to a prominent indigene of the district, Dr. Ali Kaba, the smart infrastructure initiative by the government will go a long way in improving quality of life of locals in the agricultural rich area and expose the region to investment and economic stability.
More than 60 years, this is the moment where communities around here feel like they are part of the greater nation called Sierra Leone. Connectivity not only boosts economic activities, it connects citizens to the rest of the country. And today is an example of something that President Bio committed to in 2018. The manifesto commitment was about moving the country in a new direction.
The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Henry Musa Parker, said access to farms and markets was critical to the sector for major economic reforms. He said it was a government's agenda to invest in human capital development, improving the lives of citizens, particularly farmers and rural communities.
Today, when I have ferry or boat, when they transport them, it means now if you don't grow plenty in there, you as a farmer, you'll be able to load them per truck. You drive across, you can go Kenema, you can go Kailaon, and you make plenty money and reduce the cost of transportation, the cost of logistics don't come down.
The bridge is expected to reduce post-harvest losses, improve market access within Sierra Leone and neighboring Guinea, and strengthen trade and connectivity across the region. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
A civic lane out with the signing of the Book of Condolence in honor of Honorable Justice Yao Finda Matthew Jones has taken place at the Freetown City Council Auditorium. The late woman served in various capacities in education and in the judiciary of Sierra Leone. Until her demise, the late Justice Maturi was serving as the Chancellor of the Kano University of Science and Technology. Yusuf Mosuri Suma witnessed the event and our reports.
Dignitaries, including judges and senior government officials and members from the main opposition party, invited to pay their respect to serve their country. She is remembered for her integrity, service, and pioneering in shaping legal systems. One of her children, Sir Philip Robert Jones, described his mother as a devoted, full of love and grace, woman who served the country in a sick bed.
It's that kind of person. You know, what you saw was what you got. She was full of love because she knew God. She was a Christian and she raised us all as Christians.
First Lady Fatima Madabio described the late woman as a leader who unlocked doors where many of her counterparts could not. She said the late Justice Maturi created opportunities for others and her legacy lives on in many public institutions.
Justice Maturi Jones has completed her earthly assignment, but her story will continue to be told wherever courage, service, and leadership are celebrated. Future generation will speak her name with pride because she showed us that our origins do not define our limits. Today we say goodbye with tears in our eyes, but also with pride in our heart, especially women from Kano.
Attorney General and Minister of Justice Alpha Cisse said the late justice was a distinguished jurist who left a legacy that will endure forever. He said her service helped to strengthen public trust and build confidence in the court.
Justice Nyawo Jones has left us, but she did not leave us empty-handed. She leaves a legacy etched in our law reports, echoed in the halls of academia, and enshrined in the institutions she served. She will be remembered not only for the offices she held, but for the manner in which she held them, with quiet authority, intellectual honesty, and an unwavering commitment to fairness.
The Deputy Mayor of Freetown City Council, Kwekulisk, said Justice Maturi was not only a servant to the court, but servant of the nation. Other dignitaries and colleagues describe Honorable Justice Maturi Jones as a firm but compassionate judge whose rulings advance fairness and strengthen public trust in the courts. Yusuf Mosiri Suma, SLBC News, Freetown.
May her soul rest in perfect peace. We now take stories making headlines around the world.
This is the international news with me, Esther Suzanet Bassi. The price of oil has fallen to levels not seen before the Iran war as traffic through the key Strait of Hormuz shipping route gradually resumes. Energy prices have been on a wild ride since Iran responded to the strikes by effectively closing the strait, a critical waterway for oil and gas shipments. The cost of crude has been moving sharply lower since the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding on 17 June, which set out a 60-day period for negotiations on Tehran's nuclear program and other measures to end the war. Representatives of the two sides met in Switzerland last weekend for talks to end the war, which resulted in the US partially lifting sanctions on Iranian oil exports. At least 164 people have been killed and nearly 1,000 injured after two powerful earthquakes rocked Venezuela within seconds of each other, interim President Delcy Rodrigo has said. Buildings collapsed and residents ran into the streets for safety as tremors from the twin quakes struck the capital, Caracas. Mayor Gustavo has told reporters that at least two buildings had completely collapsed in the area, which forms part of the greater metropolitan area of Caracas. He said 18 people had been rescued alive and more than 500 emergency workers were on site trying to pull out more residents. Fuel supplies into the city have been cut off and internet blackouts have also been reported. Police in Kenya have sealed off key roads leading into central Nairobi ahead of planned nationwide protests marking 2 years since deadly Gen Z-led anti-government demonstrations. Protesters say they are demanding justice for more than 80 people killed and dozens more injured during 2024 anti-tax demonstrations and anniversary protests last year. Police officers were also seen firing tear gas to disperse crowds gathered in the area. Several people have been arrested by anti-riot police in Nairobi while trying to access the city center. President Ruto announced a fund of nearly $15 million to compensate nearly 2,000 victims of protest-related human rights abuses between 2017 and 2025 identified by rights groups. And finally, in the international news, President Cyril Ramaphosa says there is no place for racism, sexism, xenophobia or Afrophobia in South Africa, adding that the government will not tolerate attempts to destabilize the country, whether through marches or any other means. He said they're going to put in place security and other measures to deal with any attempts to destabilize their country, whether by citizens or foreign nationals. He added that security forces were ready and that government was working to ensure 30 June remained a normal working day. The 30th of June will be a normal day where people will be able to work to go about their business. He further stressed collective responsibility, saying leaders must actively promote peace. Well, that's it for the international news summary from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I am Esther Susanette Bassi. Thanks for watching. Continue to stay glued.
Many thanks to Susanette Bassi for that update on the international scene. Well, now to end the news, the main point again. The Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education with its partners has begun a 2-day strategic session on blending and innovation financing for education. The initiative was designed to exploring sustainable financing solutions to strengthen the education sector. The Political Parties Registration Commission PPRC has certified a new political party in Sierra Leone, the Humble Africans Development Party. The certification, according to the Commission, is in line with the Political Parties Act of 2022. And the Jamil and Yanga Foundation has hosted 53 widows to honor them for their resilience and contributions to societal development. The event was part of the celebration of International Widows' Day. Well, that's all we have for in this edition of News Hour, which came to live from Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation from our broadcasting house here at Ningmanville in Freetown. Continue to view your public broadcaster. News Hour returns tomorrow at 8 a.m. I've been a news anchor, Ibrahim Zamara. If not, why not? Continue to view your public broadcaster, the SLBC. Have a night rest. Good night.